Same. I think there'll be a minute delay.
Hmm?
There might be a minute delay.
Oh. Are you joining us? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Qubida Analytics webinar series. Thank you very much for making the time and the effort to attend. I'd like to introduce the team who will be presenting making the presentation today. My name is Sean Hogan. I am Senior Consultant for IT Solutions and the Business Development Manager for the Qubida product. With me is Pritham Nadik, CEO, also responsible for product management, marketing, and overall business strategy. Also attending will be Abhishek Rao, who is our lead Qubida engineer. And our special guest today representing our partner is Kelvin Lim, who is the APAC Cloud Solutions Lead for NetApp, who are our partner in this endeavor. So I'd like to just briefly run you through the schedule, the agenda we have for today. First, Pritham will run you through an intro of Qubida Analytics. This will be followed by Abhishek, who will give you an intro into the product features. Then we will have a session hosted by Pritham on the supply chain sector. Then Kelvin will be introduced and bring NetApp into the picture and give you some background on NetApp solutions and how it works with Qubida. Finally, in the last 10 minutes, there will be a Q&A session and a wrap up. So ideally, if you have questions, you can prepare those in advance and we can address those in that closing section. Okay, with that said and done, I would like to introduce Pritham Nadik, who will introduce Qubida Analytics. Pritham.
Thank you, Sean. Let me start the presentation. Just take a minute for it to be up. Okay. Okay. Welcome, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce Qubida Analytics, our analytics platform from Datalinks. Qubida stands for Quick Big Data. It helps to analyze and visualize the analytics over big data. The vision of the product is to be an end-to-end integrated solution and kind of disrupt the existing methodology of business intelligence solutions. We aim to reduce or eliminate ETL and data warehousing processes so that the end user can visualize the product immediately. Okay. I hope the presentation is live now, and we'll go through the next introduction. Okay. So, in the industry currently, we see that a lot of business divisions have different opinions and also different ways of looking at data. The business objectives are different from for each division. For example, if you take a sales and marketing organization, they are interested in the demand generation of the company. They want to see the sales numbers increasing. How can they cross-sell the products, and the data that is required and the data systems that they use are completely different from an organization in finance or a regulatory organization within the same company. So the regulations officer might want to see different information in a manner that is accessed in a different way. And this is creating a lot of systems and silos, and the data is being presented in different places. So for example, the transaction information classically would be an Oracle. We will see user profiles in a NoSQL system like MongoDB, and all the logs, machine logs, web logs would be stored in a Hadoop system. So from the top, if we see the Oracle is a structured data system, MongoDB would be a semi-structured, and Hadoop would be no structured. So all of this means that the traditional way of looking at things is going to be incapable of meeting the new business requirements of data analytics. How is this being solved today? Traditionally, if we are going to collect all this information, normally they would move the data from MongoDB or a NoSQL system and Hadoop into a traditional system like Oracle or SAP. And then additional ETL processes would have to be performed. The MapReduce jobs have to be done on Hadoop. And we are talking about having flat data structures before they can be moved into a RDBMS system. The other option that we have seen in the industry is having MapReduce. So using Hadoop as the final analytics engine, and then having ETL processes from Oracle and a NoSQL system, move the data into Hadoop, and then the analytics is performed on Hadoop. The third option is where we are using some hybrid solutions, and again, all of this have the same problem of extensive ETL. We cannot get the information as quickly as we would like to see, and having a lot of intermediate steps and tools and processes involved, which makes any change to the system cumbersome and time consuming. Moving on, as mentioned before, now that all these data systems, when we put it into one big data warehouse, and we kind of create another intermediate lake, and then we create a third system which is not addressing the problem of the data silos that was mentioned earlier. What would the business want to see is an integrated information about a customer. So when did the customer last visit our shop, or what kind of information did he share on his social network? What is the product that he's currently looking for in the online searches, for example, and then correlate with our product information and see which are the products that can be pushed to this customer. Is this product even in our inventory? And if it's not in inventory, what's the time that would be required to push this product out to the customer in a manner that is that fits the requirement, so that we don't miss a sales opportunity, for example. But having said that, the problem is that this information is stored in many different places in various different formats, and putting this information up to the speed at which people would like to see is becoming a big challenge. And and to add to this, we have the growth of data. We are seeing tremendous size in the data volumes and the variety and the velocity at which everything is being created. So there is IDC estimates that there will be 44 zettabytes of data that the organization will be collecting and evaluating and analyzing. And all of this means that the traditional way of looking at business analytics is not going to meet the needs of the modern businesses. Another important note in this presentation is the growth of unstructured data versus structured data. So we see in the coming years, there would be 80% of unstructured data in the overall data mix. And this means that we need to start looking at a different way of getting things done. So how does Qubida address these problems? The vision of Qubida is to break the data silos, make the process very simple, so that we collect all the data into a huge data lake, and then provide the user to perform interactive analytics on the data lake in real time. Which means that we don't have to have a ETL process or a data warehouse which act as the middlemen or the middle layers. And it worked fine in the RWMS system. So everything was organized, everything was structured, and all this meant the systems had to be integrated and worked well with the traditional data warehouses. But with the advent of the new forms of data, the business needs to change the way they access and store information. And Qubida wants to provide this solution by addressing the problems and the inefficiencies in the original stack. So we want it to be an integrated solution. So we provide the platform that will do the data acquisition, the transformation, and the warehousing, so that the business user can see the dashboards and the reports in real time on the data that the business user is familiar with, so that there is no more need for additional IT teams or analysts to delay the process. What we want is that we will use the existing ID infrastructure. We want it to be least disruptive as possible, and we want to enable this analytics revolution across the organization, so that every user feels comfortable and confident and is eager to perform and see the information on their business data, so that HR or a finance or a marketing team do not have to rely on underlying IT infrastructure to get the information they want to see. Next, we will go through a quick product tour. Abhishai, who is on the call, will share the screen and present the product.
Abhishai, over to you.
Okay, in the meantime, I'll quickly go through some of the features of the product. Let me log out and let's start from start. Okay, so what we are seeing here is the dashboard of Qubida Analytics. There are 4 different types of dashboards that the user can see. The first one is a public dashboard that's visible across the organization. Then we have private dashboards that is created by me or the user that is currently logged in. We also have the option to share dashboards with the organization. And then we have the most active or the most popular dashboards. In the meantime, I would like to remind you can continue posting questions and we will answer them at the end of the webinar. So we have the option to then have a user account. We can connect to different social accounts here. We can see our subscription. We have an option to create groups. Here we have created 4 different groups for the organization. The super admin can create groups as well as group admins, and based on the group admins, we decide the access rights of the dashboards. For example, I can create a dashboard for a webinar, say custom, and then we see all the user groups within the organization. Okay. So once we have this dashboard created, we can see the list of dashboards. The next thing I would like to show is data connectors. In the data connectors, we give the option to directly connect to the huge data source. And in this, we provide options such as flat files, customer management, the big data, Hadoop file storage systems, traditional data warehouses, marketing, cloud storage, payment processing, and we are actively working on many other data connectors. As we hear from the industry and our customers, we are actively providing more data connectors. In terms of the next steps, I can quickly, for example, import a CSV file and then say, okay, let's take a sales. And here I get the option to choose the type or the metadata information. So we have strings or integers or dates. And by if it's a number, it's already shown as a number. I like to show it as a date, and then we say done upload. And this can be done across different data connectors. This will be populated in the data catalog field. Here we see Google Drive or Salesforce. And once the data is inside Qubida, we can go to the query designer and then select a dashboard, select the data that was imported, and start generating our reports in real time. So let me pick this payment type versus, for example, let's take country. And then let's add, let's do a sum of all the sales in that country by different payment types. And there you go. We have various options for line, bar, area, GeoJSON, and we can quickly even have filters and say select none. Just say this. So you can quickly analyze and do the filtering, and all of this can then be saved to the dashboard that we select here. And once this is saved, we go back and voila, we have our charts. The dashboard is all complete, and we have some prepared charts in the previous session. So I can say, okay, why is the sales of product 1 less, and we can see the comments as well, so that the users in the organization can quickly see the charts and see what's the reason, what's happening behind it. In addition, we have an option to schedule this dashboard, so that we can choose the frequency, the format of the data, the group that we will be sending it. For example, sales or HR, and let's say it's a weekly sales report. So what this does is, once it is scheduled, we can the system will automatically query the data source. So the queries are all stored in the engine, and on a weekly basis, for example, it will run the analytics on the data source that was selected. So for example, if we connect to your Salesforce system and then we bring in the data from Salesforce, we can have this information being generated automatically and the report sent to your email on the frequency that's been designed. So this makes the workflow very simple, very intuitive, and without any need for different systems and integration, and works very cleanly out of the box. We have a data preparation where we try to provide some operations on the data tables and structuring the data. So some of the business logic can be improved. And then also we have a query editor. Let me see if Abhi is already online. Apparently he was facing some issues, so if he's online, he can even show us the Salesforce integration, which is a very interesting one. Is Abhi in already? Abhi, can you join in as info at Qubida and share your screen? Okay, while he is up, let me see if some questions are coming. And one of the questions I can say that sometimes we are asked, how is this system only based on the cloud, or can we also have on-premises installation? So we provide this the system in any infrastructure, virtual, private, public, or hybrid solutions. So, and we are actively working with our partners to ensure that the application is available to the end user in an infrastructure environment that they're confident and comfortable of hosting. So let's see some more time. We are still waiting for Abhi to join. Bear with us for a couple of minutes, hopefully. Okay. Okay, seems like there's still a technical snag. So what I'll do is I'll just change the format a little bit. I'll start the supply chain introduction that we have all been eagerly looking forward to in our webinar. So, and after that, once Bees Online will show some other integration features. Let me share the screen. So let's come back to the challenges that we were discussing in the industry. And if we had to just focus on one particular division of supply chain, the biggest challenges that that supply chain folks are facing currently is visibility of the supply chain throughout the supply chain elements, from procurement to the time the product reaches the end user. So they want to know which are the tasks that are of highest priority. How can I monitor the status? Can we have the KPIs reflected in real time across the different vendors, or vendor management, vendor performance? And that ties into the next challenge that most of the supply chain industry would be talking about. It's risk management. What happens? Who are my suppliers that pose the highest risk? Which is the least, the weakest link in my chain? Which supplier inventory, or which vendor can bring the biggest, have the biggest impact on my numbers? And again, this means that the supply chain industry wants to be moving from a reactive, from a firefighting process to a more demand-driven and a proactive mode. And last but not the least, they eventually, all the businesses currently in business environment, the cost at which things, or let's say the budgets available, are very tight, and which means that we need to see how can we optimize, how can we be efficient in this chain of manufacturing or production, so that we provide the highest quality product at the least or at the least cost involved. Within this backdrop of the challenges that the supply chain industry is facing, let's see what's the data flow. So if you look at this chart, this is a very interesting one, which tells about how the data is moving. If we start from the purchase, all the different processes from the purchase, we procure the raw materials, then it goes to the manufacturing unit where we produce. We have, again, different processes that is being observed, and different KPIs. Then we move on to the inventory, where the product manufactured is stored, and then capturing all this information has different ways of looking at it. And then once it's ready and stored in the warehouse, it has to be shipped to the end user eventually. And it's a cycle. And this is where things start to get complex. As I mentioned in the previous slides, the systems that is being used in each of these business units and functions, from purchase to produce, inventory to delivery to sales, they're all different. The volume of data is increasing. The systems being used are different, and I would request that all of you go on mute who are attending the session. Thank you very much. Thank you. So the systems that we are using in these processes are multiple variety. So for sales, we see social media, Salesforce, customer relationship management, but in inventory, you're looking at warehouse management systems. And what does the business user want to know? I mean, the Salesforce on the ground wants to know if I have enough products that can be sold. And this information chain is not integrated in many systems. And this creates a huge deadlock and a huge opportunity loss. And this is what we would like to show and highlight the fact by making it an integrated solution. So if I go back, and if we start integrating the different sources and bring it onto one single platform, Qubida, it addresses a lot of problems. And then the end user can look at the product, can look at the information in real time on any device. Let me go into some of the dashboard templates that we provide out of the box for supply chain. Okay. So what we have done is we have these different processes pulled into a single, let's say, view, where we provide out-of-the-box templates. And let me start with inventory. And here we can quickly see the information coming. So we already collected this information from 3 different systems, SAP, Excel-based information, as well as warehouse management system. And once we pull this information, we have KPIs for, let's say, the inventory that is going to expire soon. So the supply chain manager can quickly say, oh, I have this inventory that's expiring, can we do something with it? Or the warehouse too is going to be out of capacity, what can we do with this? And or a real-time inventory status, so a heat map of the inventory wherein I can quickly click and see what's the information. And various ways, so we can drill down into a country and see which product group inventory is at a low level, or how can we improve further. And this gives a very interesting way to pull the information from different systems and have it readily available. If you go into production planning, so we have seen the inventory. Now let's stick with let's say purchasing. So we have again purchasing dashboard where we can see the vendor performance of different vendors, and which vendor is or which purchase order has been delayed. And also we can look at the shipping KPIs. We have shipping KPIs. We have quality information, so we can see which. So we quickly give a Gantt of different materials and when they are supposed to be tested and approved, and if we see if any good receipt is delayed or if the batch release has been delayed because not having procured the quality control. And we can see the trend here of on-time batch approval. So clearly the organization is improving its trend. The quality KPIs are improving on a monthly basis. And let's see what manufacturing sites would like to see. So they can look at their dashboard and see, okay, which orders are delayed, or what's the resource utilization of my machines or processes. Why is there a problem with let's say machine 4 here? How is my weekly schedule? And this can be then shared and collected by different team inside the same organization in a single platform, and provides a much convincing and a holistic view of, for example, we can see there are dips in the orders on time. This is interesting. So we can see the on time in full KPI, and can drill down to different levels here. So I can see the Phoenix is having a problem in July. Let's check July. So we have machine 15, which is having causing some problems with the on time in full percentages to go low. So, and then let's complete the chain by seeing the sales, and we can quickly see what's the year-to-date sales in the country. Then we go to the forecast accuracy. What's the target? Says the actual sales, and this information is all available and joined in a very intuitive manner. And we provide many more templates for different functions and industries, from retail, public sector, financial services. We have some advanced features where we do the data preparation, and also for power users, you can run your SQL queries on the data sources directly, so that the data is available in real time. So we would be having more webinars to introduce the advanced features, and please sign up on our website to see what's the or if you have any questions, please direct it to our team, and we'll be happy to answer those and explain in detail. So I see, let me see if Abhi is back in. Okay, I see Abhi is back in. Perhaps Abhi, you can take over and quickly show us the sales force.
Sure. Thank you so much, Preetham. Hello to everybody who's joined us today. I'll take you through a quick tour of how we can connect to multiple data sources. Maybe we'll upload a couple of data sets and show you how we can use a query designer. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. Okay, I hope you can see my screen already. So let's head over to the data connectors tab. Here we have basically we've categorized all the different data sources that a user could use. So we have flat files, basically CSV, JSON. We have other customer management sources like Salesforce, Highrise, and Desk, etc. We also have traditional data sources like Oracle, Postgres, and also a few from cloud storage and online spreadsheets. So what I'm going to be demoing today are basically two data connectors. One is the flat file, that is the CSV file. So let's head straight over the CSV file. I'm going to be uploading a file called webinar sales. So I'm going to be putting this up. So I'll just quickly go over and show you the file itself. The file looks like this. As you can see, we have all of these fields up here, all the way to latitude and longitude. And these are the data sets that we have. So we have a couple thousand rows in this data set. So the moment we import a data set, it's quickly going to scan through and basically clean up the data in case the data format of one of the rows do not match the other rows, and stuff like that. We take care of that already. And then we quickly give you an option to say that you can basically decide the schema for the data set that you've imported. So let's say transaction date, while it's stored as a string, but Qubida understands that it could possibly be a date. So that's where it's going to give us the option of saying that, do you want to pick it up as a date or as a string? So we say that we would like to pick this up as a date instead of a string. And then once it looks good to us, we say, go ahead and upload the data set. So this is the flow for importing a flat file, that is a CSV file. Now let's head over to Salesforce. This is basically what we do is we're able to connect to Salesforce, and we're able to pull all the reports that the user has already created in his or her Salesforce account. So I'll just quickly head over to the reports tab on the Salesforce site. So this is our Salesforce site where we've generated a few reports already that we can query and import. So for instance, we go to sales 2009 report. This is a very simple report which just has three fields. That is the ID, of course. Then we have the price and we have the transaction date. So it's a very simple file in that sense. We just would like to quickly show you how we can get this information into Qubida and how we can create charts out of it. So I would like to head over to the Salesforce tab. So the moment you hit Salesforce, you're going to see that it says that Qubida Analytics is requesting permission to basically access all of these things. So we need access to Salesforce so that we're able to give you multiple options. Today it's reports, but obviously in the future there are so many things that we can achieve with Salesforce. So we say allow. It's basically going to authenticate with Salesforce, and it's going to send us back to Qubida once it has authenticated our account. So as you can see, we are now in step 2 of import dataset, where you will see a list of all the reports that you have on Salesforce. So for instance, sales 2009 and price. So sales 2009 is the same report that we're seeing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I would like to import this report into Qubida so that we can see how we're able to query it. So I say import, it's going to do the same thing that it did with the CSV file. It's going to go and correct any anomalies in the data source itself first, and then it's going to give us the option to select the schema. So I could do the same thing here, pick it up as a date, like so, and then say that it looks good. So I'd like to import the data set. So what we've done now is basically picked up a report from Salesforce. We picked up a CSV flat file from my desktop into Qubida. So it's all in the cloud, and I can pretty much access this from anywhere. So just to quickly give you an overview of what we have done, we could head over to the data catalog tab, which is basically, it has an overview of all the files that we've been uploading so far. So these files these were some sample data sets that we pushed yesterday. But these are the two files that we just pulled right now. So the webinar sales CSV, which is basically a flat file. I just pushed it a few minutes ago. And the same with Sales 2009, which comes from Salesforce. This was also pushed just a minute ago. So the options that we have are to actually quickly take a look at how the data looks. So in the preview, what we do is we go ahead and pull up a couple of rows so that you can actually take a look at how the data is stored in the database. So for instance, I'd like to highlight that when we imported the data set, we said that we would like to have it as a date. So if you see, it's actually stored in a ISO format. It's stored as an ISO date, which means that it's now a really powerful object which we can use to let's say slice and dice our overall data into many different forms. So the other option that we have is to obviously delete the data source. That's also something that we can do. So what I'm going to do now is head over to the query designer. We don't have a dashboard. I'll just quickly create a dashboard. I'm going to call it sales public, for instance, and then create that dashboard. Just going to wait for a couple of moments before we see it here. Okay, so we have the sales public dashboard. I'm going to head over to query designer. We need to select the dashboard first because we need to know where to save this particular chart. I would actually like to show you an interesting thing that we can do with yeah. So basically, I can go ahead and select the inventory.
You'll have to run it through quick as running out of time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just quickly, I'll go through the inventory levels month. So maybe what I can do is I can pick up country, I can pick up month. I can say that I'd like to see an average of the inventory values. I'm gonna make this as a bar chart first. This is what it would look like. And then if I actually wanted to visualize, since I see that it's Afghanistan, Albania, all of these countries, if I would actually like to visualize this on a map, without actually having the GeoJSON data per se, what I can do is I can actually go ahead and select the bubble on the map. And then if I said OK, you'd see that we're already able to extract that information, locate the space that you're talking about, and give you the exact average inventory numbers and plot it all on a map, pretty much effortlessly, while the data source itself looks something like this. So as you can see, it just has the country and inventory information. We do not have any map related information, but we're able to basically extract that, apply some processes in the backend and give you an easy way to interact with your data. So that was a quick demo of the data connectors with flat files, Salesforce integration, a data catalog where you can view all of your imported data sets, and your query designer where we can do many powerful things. Back to you, Pritam.
Thanks, Abhi.
Abby, thank you very much, and I trust everyone learned a lot from that. So, all right, now it's my great pleasure to introduce Kelvin Lim from NetApp. As we've maybe alluded to before, Qubida Analytics has partnered with NetApp because quite simply of their unrivaled storage expertise, and this underpins an alliance that gives you, the customers, assurance on data management and governance. And with that, I would like to introduce Kelvin to walk through the NetApp section. Kelvin.
Well, thank you very much, Sean. So to all the audience on the call, well, it's good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from me. So today I will bring you through big data in the hybrid cloud, right? So I'll just take 1 minute to explain to those guys who are not familiar with NetApp, right? So NetApp, primarily, we are a global provider of software, systems, and services to manage and store enterprise data, right? So we are a global MNC, right? So our revenue comes in at around $6.3 billion annually. And across the globe, we have more than 12,000 staff working with us, right? NetApp, we are always at the leading edge of technology. I mean, if you go back to our history, we are one of the first to introduce NFS, and we are also one of the first enterprise storage provider to to roll out a unified storage, right, supporting both NAS and SAN in a single array. Right, so today we have more than 3,000 patents that is patented under our name, right? So moving on, the main topic for my session today will be Qubida Analytics on NetApp hybrid cloud solutions. Right, so I'm sure all of you in the call do agree that cloud is a very important technology that enterprise should embark on. Right, so in today's case, right, it's not so much a question of whether the enterprise should go on a public or a private cloud, but it's more of when are they able to merge their clouds together and form a hybrid cloud, right? So in NetApp today, we do have solutions, helping our enterprise customers in building their private cloud on our FlexPort technology, right? We also have solutions that help our customers move to the public cloud, primarily, for example, like AWS, Azure, or SoftLayer, right? So for the public cloud, we have like two solutions. One is the NetApp Private Storage, and the other is Cloud on Tap, right? So you can run Qubida on all three of these solutions in different clouds, right? So in the next few slides, I will go in more detail on our private and public cloud solutions individually. Okay, so I will first start off with our FlexPort platform, which is primarily our private cloud solution, right? So FlexPort itself is a converged solution that we partner together with Cisco. So you can look at it as a data center within a rack, right? So FlexPort, you can start really small, as a half rack converged infrastructure, and it can scale to multiple racks all within one system. Right, so the beauty of FlexPort itself is that everything is pre-configured in the factory. It's flexible, and you can be assured that when it's delivered to your data center, it is configured based on best practices. Right, so it's really reduce risk and accelerate your speed to deploy. Right. So together with the FlexPort infrastructure, what we have with Qubida is basically big data in a pod, right? So Qubida will be loaded on the UCS, the Cisco UCS braids, and then we should be connected to the Cisco Nexus switches, and in turn, the data storage will be on the NetApp FAS array, right? So another good feature about the FlexPort is it can be used for multiple purpose, right? So you can also install other applications on the very same FlexPort that you have, and because it's all in a single rack, in terms of you don't have to worry about the cabling because it's already taken care of within the rack. All right, so it's pretty much a private cloud within a rack or big data within a pod itself. Okay, so moving on to the NetApp private storage, we call it MPS for short, right? So we have this solution that we call the MPS for multi-cloud, right? So we are aware that a lot of our customers, right, they do want to move to the private cloud, whether be it Amazon, Azure, or SoftLayer, but they have concern of their data, right? Because once they move to the private cloud, their data is no longer within their control, not within their asset, and they can't really determine, the location of their data, right? So this is where the NetApp private storage comes in. So in the NetApp private storage case, how the solution works is the customer, right, they can purchase or lease a NetApp box, and this NetApp box itself will be situated at a co-location data center, which is near the AWS, Azure, or SoftLayer cloud, right? And we have dedicated link connecting the NetApp storage box to the private cloud, and the end result is our customers can leverage on all the flexibility, or the agility, scalability of the private cloud compute, but at the same time, their data always resides within the NetApp storage, which can be owned by the customer. Right, and so this also gives the customer a choice of failing over between AWS, Azure, or SoftLayer, and they are not locked in by any of the cloud providers, right? Because the data is always residing outside the cloud. So really useful for customers who have data sovereignty and data security concerns on the private cloud. So similarly, right, this NetApp private storage in the co-location data center can also be connected to the FlexPod or the NetApp storage in their private on-premise data center, right? So with that, the customers actually have a low cost and very easy to set up DR environment, right? So during normal business environment, they can run all their production workload on-premise and have their data replicated to the NetApp storage in the co-location data center. And it's only during disaster then they launch the compute in the various cloud, be it AWS, Azure, or SoftLayer, right? So similarly, you can run multiple workloads, including Qubida in this setup. Okay, so that's for NetApp private storage. And then the next solution that I'd like to introduce to the audience here will be the NetApp Cloud on Tap. So NetApp Cloud on Tap is a different solution from the NetApp private storage. In the NetApp Cloud on Tap solution, currently, we partner with Amazon Web Services. So for NetApp Cloud on Tap, is basically you can launch a virtual instance of the NetApp storage totally in Amazon Cloud, right? So the storage OS will run on a Amazon EC2 instance, and we will be utilizing the EBS Elastic Block Storage for this case, right? So this is really good for customers who want to do test and development, or they just want to have a very low cost setup of our enterprise storage in the cloud, right? So you may ask, why do we need Cloud on Tap when you can easily just use EBS on AWS, right? So one of the simple answers is with Cloud on Tap on top of EBS, you will get all the enterprise storage feature on top of the EBS, right? So features like multi-protocol with Cloud on Tap, EBS can be used as can serve either iSCSI or NFS, CIFS share files, share volumes to your applications. And we also come with various snapshot, cloning, and team provisioning, and deduplication, as well as encryption features, right? So we are really bringing enterprise storage features to the AWS cloud storage. Okay, so for our customers, they don't really need to be expert in AWS to leverage on Cloud on Tap, because we have this free application which is called the Cloud Manager. So what Cloud Manager does is that it monitors and it creates Cloud on Tap in the Amazon Web Services. So Cloud on Tap will actually order the required EC2 and EBS on your behalf, right? So you don't have to be an expert in AWS to work on Cloud on Tap, right? And so similarly, this Cloud on Tap can be connected to your existing NetApp folder in your private data center. and this is where you can create a hybrid cloud based on the NetApp solution. Right, so for the same case, you can run multiple apps on Cloud on Tap, and similarly, Qubida can be one of those apps that you run on Cloud on Tap as well. All right, so with this, I have come to the end of my session. So I'll hand it back to my friends in Qubida to conduct the Q&A session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kelvin. That was very good. Okay, we're
just one additional point. I mean, thank you very much, Kelvin. With the NetApp Alliance, what we are bringing is enterprise storage and facilities to the customer and customer has a lot of faith when they log into Qubida that their data is well managed, well secured, and well stored without having to worry about data management. And that's so we are partnering very closely with NetApp and engineering our solutions to meet the existing NetApp infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you, Qubida.
What I'd like to do now is, first of all, reiterate what Preetham said before, that this is the first in an ongoing series of webinar sessions. Going forward, we will be covering additional market sectors and also bringing to you advanced features of the product. In terms of today's session, if there's something that you would like further information on or something you feel has not been covered, please get in touch and reach out to us, and we will answer your queries and respond as soon as possible. The contact information is, I believe, it's up-ish. There's a slight lag, so you should see it a couple of minutes after I've actually said this. Okay, finally, basically, I think that's basically, if you have any questions, let's just check. I know that Preetham actually mentioned one question that we've encountered. We had a few feedback sessions, and one of the questions that came up was the issue of on cloud or on premise. Another one that came up that was very pertinent to customers, potential and actual, was that what other market sectors are addressed by Qubida? I mean, today we've touched on supply chain, but what other templates or areas can Qubida be applied to? And with that in mind, I'd like to bring Preetham back to give you a brief answer, because I know we have time. Time is a bit short. Preetham?
Thanks, Sean. I think we are having a lot of interaction with our customers in retail and financial services, and we're also seeing pharmaceutical sector pretty much an active interest there. So please feel free to connect to us and see what templates or what formats are already available on Qubida, or if not, we can quickly put something up. So that's about it.
Okay.
With that, I mean,
yeah,
come to the end of the session. And
okay, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, whether you're here in the same time zone or at some early hour in the morning in Europe or joining us from the Americas, thank you very much for your time. Like I said, please reach out to us and follow up. The demo, my apologies, the webinar is available online as a recorded session, so you can look at this, and we will also be sending out a link to attendees and to those we approached. So again, thank you very much from myself and Preetham and the rest of the team, and we look forward to presenting more webinar sessions and your attendance. Thank you very much.